East African nation of Kenya has been rocked by anti-government protests against a raft of tax hikes. Opposition leader Raila Odinga initiated a string of anti-government rallies this year after narrowly losing out to William Ruto in the presidential elections that were held in August last year. On the 12th of July, in the second round of protests in less than a span of a week, at least about 6 people were killed in clashes between the police and the demonstrators across the country. These clashes on Wednesday followed rallies in several cities last week that saw 6 people getting killed. Opposition politicians and rights campaigners have accused the Kenyan police of being heavy-handed. Now, Kenya's constitution guarantees the right to peacefully demonstrate, but the police have asserted that any demonstration needs advance notification in the interest of national security. So what really is happening in Kenya at this moment? Our next report gets you the details.
6 people were killed in violent clashes between demonstrators and Kenyan police on Wednesday. Five of these deaths were reported in the towns of Molongo and Kitengela on the outskirts of capital Nairobi. Tear gas and live ammunition were used by the police to disperse protesters attacking a highway connecting Nairobi to the port city of Mombasa. One death was recorded in Imali, a town located along that route. Some demonstrators ended up in local hospitals with grievous injuries, including gunshot wounds. The excessive use of force by police in dealing with these banned opposition protests against tax hikes hasn't gone down well with angry protesters.
The police are using excessive force on the citizens and many have been injured. And even my brother is being treated for the gun wounds. He has been shot in his legs and it has hurt us. We are not happy at all for the use of force by the police, and I am appealing to look into the ongoing issues because we are the citizens. You stole the elections. We are not happy and we are hurting. We are suffering. We are not fighting for ODM, but are hurting from our houses. We do not have flour, we do not have money. You have eaten all the money and we are suffering. There are no jobs for the youths.
The Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights has called for an investigation into all reported incidents of police brutality. The brutal police crackdown has elicited widespread condemnation from rights groups including Amnesty International over arbitrary arrests. A defiant government, though, blamed protesters who had taken to the streets in thousands as part of a banned opposition organized protest against high cost of living and tax hikes. Squarely pinning the blame on protesters, Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki condemned widespread violence, looting and destruction of private and public property. Furthermore, he issued a warning that the government will not tolerate the violence and what he described as the culture of impunity will stop. Caught in the mayhem are ordinary Kenyans, already bearing the brunt of soaring cost of living.
Life has become very hard. The cost of living has increased and life is becoming unbearable. Our children are not going to school. We are not being able to afford food. Now we cannot go to work due to the protest. We do not have options. We do not know what we will do with the current government.
New taxes have added to the frustration in East Africa's economic hub, with inflation hovering at about 8%. Taxes on petroleum products, including gasoline, have doubled from 8% to 16%, a move bound to have a ripple effect. The government of William Ruto considers the tax hikes a necessity to deal with the growing debt repayments and for funding job creation initiatives. President William Ruto had come to power last August on the promise of improving the economic fortunes. The impoverished electorate which voted for him now feels betrayed and is increasingly disillusioned. The pertinent question here is, how long will these protests continue, and will it ultimately result in a regime change in Kenya?